Hey ladies, so in 2024 we're denying the existence of Afro-Latinos. That's what we're doing. Are we still having confusion around race, ethnicity, and heritage?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Here we go again with the identity policing because motherfuckers want to put you in a box. So on this channel, we talk a lot about Black Americans and some African people not acknowledging the identities of Black exoticals in America, in the Caribbean. But today we're going to talk about our Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and in Central America and South America. I came across a clip of Amara La Negra, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with her. She is a TV personality. She's an entertainer, singer, dancer, etc. And she was on Love and Hip Hop Miami years ago. I think she still might even be on it now. But I came across a clip, and it was a reunion clip from years ago, and they were having a discourse about Afro-Latinas. And we all know that this is a huge conversation that goes on within the diaspora because people still do not want to accept that there are Black folks in the Caribbean, in Spanish-speaking countries, in spaces and in countries where most people are mestizo, which is mixed or more white passing, or completely white. You know, it's hard and uncomfortable for a lot of people to wrap their brain around the fact that there are Black people who speak Spanish and whose family lineage hails from those Spanish-speaking countries, but they have a mixed heritage, a mixed culture, and probably even are racially mixed because of just the blending when slaves were dropped off in those countries. It just never fails to surprise me that there are people who are just so comfortable in their ignorance and in spewing ignorance. So I'm going to show you guys this clip and then I'll come back for my 2 cents.
What was going through your head when he started talking to you about your appearance and about your hair?
I was upset this much, but not really, because unfortunately all my life I've had to deal with people that have had that mentality.
Right.
There's certain people that will never understand. I was upset because he just kept like digging into it with the Nutella Queen. It's annoying the fact that I feel as if I always have to defend myself, defend my race, defend my looks, defend my fro, whether it's my Afro puff. My hair doesn't define me. My hair is just part of me. Look at me now. I'm still Mara La Negra. The hair that grows out of my hair is an Afro. Period. So if I want to wear it a certain type of way, that shouldn't affect who I am as a person or my music.
I obviously didn't articulate myself. When I say Afro, I didn't mean that, like when she said, oh, my hair grows as an Afro. It actually grows curly. Like it's not an Afro. Is that the name of that, of hair that grows like Afro? It's curly hair, right? Isn't it just curly hair?
Well,
I'm not trying to...
The more he talks, the more he digs himself.
I just don't understand how a hair, you know, it is what it is. I said it the wrong way, and I apologize for it. It wasn't my intention.
It wasn't a genuine apology because even now, after the show has been over and done, and you still didn't sit down to where Afro-Latinos are. Like, and not only that, but you have a website selling Afro Papi, Afro Mommy t-shirts. On top of that, you mocked me.
I'm trying to rep the cause. I ain't never heard of no Afro-Latinos. Okay, well, we are Afro-Latinos then now. Let's do the Afro-Latino move.
You're still sitting here.
I'm not the only one that's going everywhere like, what is this? Ain't nobody heard of that before. Because everybody's going crazy off like of skin complex colorism. I didn't even, like, that's to me. I don't see no difference between anybody.
What are you saying?
My dad's Black and my mom's white. That's to me. So you're super Spanish. You only speak Spanish. You don't hang out in the Black community like that. You don't be in, like...
Okay.
It doesn't seem like you know the difference between race, nationality, and ethnicity. And you being Hispanic and you saying your dad is Black and I'm speaking to you, and you saying that your mom is white. The thing is, Black
color.
people...
They're both Spanish, but they're Black and white.
Well, I'm the same way. My parents are both Black, and they're born in Cuba, but they're of African descent. Latino means that we're of African descent. Black African people weren't just dropped off in America. They were dropped off.
But if you want to go deep into that goes really deep. That goes really deep.
You don't know. Our ancestors are from Africa.
Of course, but everybody's from Africa if you want to go there. We didn't even know what are you talking about? The whole human race derives from Africa if you want to go there.
You guys see
what I'm talking about. I'm done talking about that.
This is what I want to talk about because a lot of people in the Caribbean, especially in Spanish-speaking Caribbean countries, they have a hierarchy of beauty as well, except their hierarchy is based on whoever is the most white or whoever is white, the whitest, is better. And so for him to say that he doesn't see color or he doesn't know anything about colorism or anything like that, oh, his dad's Black, his mom's white, that doesn't mean anything. That just means that you most likely are on the higher end of the hierarchy where you don't really feel what it's like to be a Black person in your native country, or a person of color, or a person who has more Black admixture in your country. And then how funny is it that he contradicts himself, because he said that he has no idea who Afro-Latinos are. He's never heard that term before, according to him. He doesn't subscribe to that. He doesn't know anyone else who calls themselves Afro-Latina or who uses that term. He thinks it's bullshit, essentially. That was his tone, and that's what he was trying to say. He's basically saying you're either Black or you're white or you're mixed. There's no in between. There's no you can claim you're Latina but also be Black. You're either Latina or you're Black. See, and that's the problem that we're seeing with a lot of people on both sides of the coin. With Spanish-speaking countries, you have to show up as white or mixed to be considered Latina. In America, it's the same thing, the one-drop rule. If you appear to be Black, you're Black. Most of the time, people want to lump you in. They want to lump you into one group, and that's my issue here, is that on both sides of the coin, we have people trying to lump you into one group when you are saying, hey, it's not just one thing. Black folks aren't just a monolith. We have Afro-Latinas. We have West Indian women. We have Somali women. We have Kenyan women. We have all different types of people. We have Brazilian women. We have all different types of people. And it's like on both sides of the coin with the Spanish-speaking people and Black American people, it is like you have to subscribe to one or the other. There's no in between. And God forbid you subscribe to one of those in-betweens, you are now doing too much. Now you're being confusing, now you're being extra, now you're being dramatic, and now people are dedicated to misunderstanding you. And they're even more hell-bent on trying to group you in to a box that makes them feel comfortable and that keeps you subjugated in whatever disadvantages they think your Blackness puts you in. Let's really talk about it, because that's what he was getting at. When he said you're either Black or you're white, when he said, I've never heard of Afro-Latinas before, I've never heard of this term, be for real, you have. I don't care if you grew up most of your life in America, if you come from a Spanish-speaking country, if your family lineage is from a Spanish-speaking country, you understand that the slave trade happened where you're from too. And that there are tons and tons of Black people where you are. Black people who have admixture, Black people who are mixed. Let's be real. It's not just one or the other. And the ignorance in him trying to diminish her identity by saying, I've never heard of Afro-Latinas is not a real thing. He's basically trying to tell her that you have to pick a side and stay on it. You can't also claim that you're Latina like me, because that would mean that we're the same. That's really what he was getting at, in my opinion. I feel like he was trying to say, you're actually just Black and you need to stop trying to throw in that Latina on the end of it, because it's almost like you're trying to exotify yourself. No, and that's the issue we have in America as well. When we say we're West Indian, when we say we're Trinidadian, Guyanese, Grenadian, Bayesian, Antiguan, whatever it is, it's like people are now looking at you sideways in Black American culture. Even with West African people who live in America are looking at you sideways because it's like, girl, please, you're Black. But it's like they also notice that you have a phenotype that is different from the average quote-unquote Black person, unambiguous Black person. It's so funny how people want you to be in a box because it makes them comfortable. Because if you venture outside of that box, now you're this interesting, exotic, different thing, when in reality you're just claiming what you are. Like, it is so weird to me. I also think it's hypocritical of him to say that he doesn't know what Afro-Latino people are. But like she said, he's selling t-shirts and sweatshirts that say Afro Mommy and Afro Papi on it. So clearly you know what it is, but you don't really want to subscribe to it in your waking life, in your real life, in your day-to-day life, because you're just doing it for a check. Like he said, he's just trying to be down with the cause. He's basically trying to say, I know that people are claiming their African roots these days, so let me get in on this cash grab and start putting out products that bring pride to those people, but I'm also not going to acknowledge them as Latino because they're just Black in my eyes. Like, are we in the Twilight Zone? I'm so confused as to how some people are just so ignorant.
You're Black, not Latina. Imagine thinking you did your big one by saying that to me, y you're saying that to someone que está orgullosa de ser colombiana, dominicana, y morena. Look, I'm a firm believer that you gotta leave ignorant people where you found them, but let me educate you a little bit, just a little bit, okay? This is not the first time that I hear this. Did you know, and you probably didn't because you said this, that the slave trade did not only take place in America, it also took place in parts of the Caribbean, South America, and Central America. And before America did it, and I'm not proud to say this, but before America did it, and Google this, DR was the first country to ever import slaves, which is why you see a huge population of black people in the DR. Not all of us are black, but the majority of us are. It is 2023, y'all. And people still do not know the difference between race and ethnicity. Ethnically, mi mamá, que de Colombia, mi papá, que era dominicano, makes me Latina. Spanish was my first language. Racially, I'm a woman of color, I'm melanated. Now let me say this, okay? Because I identify as an Afro-Latina, but I also know that I'm light-skinned. And because I'm light-skinned, there's so much privilege that I'm gonna have, and my experiences are gonna be different from someone who identifies as an Afro-Latina and is of a darker skin complexion. But people still say stuff like this, and this is what I've talked about so many times. Please, before you say anything like that to someone, just be educated, okay?
So I love all of her points that she made. The slave trade stopped in all parts of the Western Hemisphere, okay? If you zoom in on that woman's comment, like on the profile picture of the person who commented on this young lady's post, she is white. She is a white passing Hispanic woman. That is why she felt comfortable to come on this young lady's page and remind her that she is black and not Latino. Why? Because they don't want to have someone who is of a melanated complexion claiming to be Latina, because apparently the only people who can be Latina are people who are white and white passing, okay, or close to white. And it just blows my mind. She identifies as an Afro-Latina, but someone is trying to remind her that no, you're actually just black. It's a humbling tactic. This is what I'm trying to get at, ladies. This humbling tactic goes far beyond what we experience here in America. As a West Indian American myself, I have experienced people in my own family on my dad's black side trying to humble me like, oh, you're not different because your mom is West Indian. I've had African people who have been in the States for years, generations, right? Generations of them have been in the States for years. I would go to school with them and I would talk about my West Indian heritage and how my dad has indigenous in his background. And they would literally try to like humble me by saying, no, you're just African, girl. You look African. You're one of us. But I was always treated differently from them. How ironic. So I'm just African, but you isolate me. You tell me that I don't fit in here. You treat me differently than the rest of the quote unquote Africans and black people. So clearly I'm not just what you're saying I am, because if I was, I would have been fitting in and blending in perfectly with you all. The problem is you see that I have admixture. You see that I look like what I'm telling you I am, which is Caribbean American. And it is uncomfortable for you because in your world and in your mind, you have exotified Caribbean people. Just say that. Don't try to gaslight me and humble me and make me feel like I'm one of y'all, but at the same time, you're not embracing me as one of you. Okay. And I'm sure Afro-Latinas can say the same. Almost like with these white Hispanic people, if you have a hint of brown in you, they one drop you and put you in the black category. And it's like, does that wipe out the fact that culturally and ethnically, I am still, like she said, Dominican and Colombian? How does that change what she is ethnically?
So where are you from? I'm from Colombia. From where? From Colombia in South America. And where are your parents from? They are from Colombia too, both of them, yeah. And where are your grandparents from? They're from Colombia too. Okay, what about your great-grandparents? Okay, if you want to know why am I black, just ask. Just ask. Just ask. Ask.
Like, they're still getting it mixed up. Latina is not a race. It is a ethnicity. It encompasses many different backgrounds and many different types of people. So it is very, very, very troubling to see that there are people, even in these Spanish-speaking countries, who are discriminating and trying to humble Black exoticals from those same countries. And at this point, it really is just annoying. I don't know why white Hispanic people and white Latino people act like black Hispanics and black Latinos don't exist. It's very confusing. I don't know why they still get up on social media and get on TV, national TV at that, and boldly and ignorantly stand up on this podium of, I don't acknowledge Afro anything, you're either black or you're white. I don't know why in 2024 this is still even a conversation, but it just shows me that people still need educating. And that's why we have this community over here in Exotical land, because people deny our existence as Exoticals, whether we are in Brazil, whether we are in Trinidad, whether we are in America, wherever we are, we proudly represent our mixed heritage and mixed ethnicity, as well as our mixed race, if you are mixed race. I don't know, ladies, you guys drop down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. I've never really done a video about my Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. I've mainly just spoken about, you know, my West Indian people and them, period, because that's, you know, what I am. But I would love if some of my Afro-Latinas can drop down in the comment section, can sound off. Let me know your thoughts. Have you battled with these things? Is it still going on in your life currently? I'd love to have a conversation. I'll also be leaving my email in the description box so you can share any stories that you have with me there as well. Have a lovely day, ladies.